Welcome to News on Face. You're watching today's top news of the day. In today's top news, we are going to discuss about Donald Trump's upcoming meeting with Xi Jinping, plus background on the U.S. and China trade tensions, rare earth issues, and also tariffs. So let's discuss about this news today. A big development between the world's two largest economies. So the US President Donald Trump will meet soon Chinese President Xi Jinping on October 30. So this meeting will happen in South Korea on the sidelines of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, also known as APEC Summit. This meeting is very important because it comes at a time when trade tensions between the US and China are very high. Just a few days ago, President Donald Trump announced that the US will impose a 100% tariff on Chinese goods starting on November 1st. So that means prices on goods imported from China could double. US President Donald Trump said this move was needed to pressure Beijing on trade and security issues. But now both countries are preparing for this face-to-face meeting, which could decide the future of their trade relationship. White House Press Secretary Caroline confirmed the meeting. She said reporters that President Donald Trump will leave for Malaysia that on Friday night and will also visit Japan and South Korea during his Asia tour. She also added that on Thursday morning local time, President Donald Trump will participate in a bilateral meeting with the President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China before departing to return home. That means President Donald Trump Xi Jinping meeting will happen Thursday morning. So South Korea time before Trump heads back to the United States. Recently, Donald Trump took a tough stance on China, accusing Beijing of allowing fentanyl, it's a dangerous drug, to be smuggled into the US through Venezuela. He said the US will take strict action if China continues to support such networks. At the same time, both countries are fighting a trade war with tariffs, export bans, and technology restrictions on each other's goods. The US is especially worried about China's control over rare earth minerals, which are key for making electric vehicles, smartphones, and military equipment. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently said that the world must come together to reduce dependence on China for rare earths. He even called it China versus the world. He said the US experts support from India and European nations in countering China's control. China currently produces about 60% of the world's rare earth minerals and refines more than 90% of them. That gives Beijing a huge advantage over the rest of the world. Experts say this meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping will also focus on this issue, how to balance the global supply chains and avoid economic stocks. So earlier this month, Donald Trump announced a 100% tariffs on Chinese goods starting November 1st. He said it's not a permanent move, but a temporary pressure tactic before his meeting with President Xi Jinping. Also, Trump added that it's not sustainable, but that's what the number is. They forced me to do that. Donald Trump said the statement. China responded strongly, warning the US that such steps could hurt global markets. Beijing also added new fees on American ships entering its ports and restricted some rare earth exports to the US. However, Donald Trump later softened his tone, writing on his Truth Social account that don't worry about China, it will all be fine. The USA wants to help China, not hurt it. This mix of tough talk and peace messages shows that both sides are trying to keep the door open for dialogue. When Trump and Xi Jinping meet on October 30, the key discussions points are expected to include that tariffs and trade balances, that how to reduce tensions and restore smoother trade. And they may also discuss about fentanyl and the security. US depend for action on drug smuggling networks and peace in Asia, including North Korea's role and sustainable in the region. The APEC summit will also see leaders from Japan, South Korea, India, and Australia, making it an important platform for global economic discussions. So, if the Trump and Xi Jinping meeting goes well, experts believe it could claim global markets and improve trade ties. But if talks fail, it may lead to another round to tariffs hikes and more economic uncertainty. For now, investors, business leaders, and governments around the world are watching closely to see if the two leaders can find common ground. So, US President Donald Trump will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping on October 30 in South Korea at the APEC Summit amid rising tensions over trade, tariffs, and the global supply chain. So, this meeting is either pressure or make the rivalry worse. Only time will tell, but one thing is sure the world will be watching very closely. So, that's all for today's update. For more international update, keep watching News on Face. Thank you.